Welcome to Tanakh Talk. I'm your host, William Hall, broadcasting live from Kingsland, Texas, USA, with another episode of TNT, Totally Not True, with Rabbi Stuart the Man Federow from the Big H. Houston, Texas, welcome back. Rabbi, how are you this morning?
I heard you say it, even though you didn't say it.
I didn't mute your mic. Hold on. Say that again?
I heard you say it, even if you didn't say it.
You
Welcome
did.
back.
I know. It always crosses my mind. It's just one of those things.
Yes, I know.
And everybody agrees it's great advice. Maybe not necessarily.
It is definitely great advice.
Maybe not advice to give to a rabbi, of course, but
it doesn't matter.
That's what makes it a little awkward, I think. But okay, well, very good. Well, we are live. Hi all. Hey, Michael Arlen, welcome. Stuart Federow, you stalker. You're on here too. Yeah.
Wait, did you say talker or stalker?
Stalker. What's the other word that they use for people who spam other people's channels? There's another word. I forgot what it's called. It's okay. It's okay.
Wait a minute.
That's okay. Not part of the show.
Troll? A troll?
Yeah. That's it. Hi, Andrea. Welcome back, Linda. Welcome.
Hi, Andrea. Hi, Linda. Hi, Larry.
Linda, thank you for your donation. Appreciate that very much.
Echo from Rabbi's mic.
Echo from Rabbi's mic. Okay, cool. Glad we caught this early. I know exactly what it is. I had to reset. Remember, I said we had to reset it.
Do. I'm glad. To hear it.
Okay, that should have fixed it right there.
Hi, Yoshi. Hi, Christo. About 3 weeks, I think. No, 3 weeks.
How's it now, guys? We want to make sure this is it. So the reason why
again,
we're going through a whole new setup on all of these things that I used to do the show, because I had a hard software update on Sunday, which is why Rabbi Singer and I were going almost an hour late, and why some of the other shows were canceled. So there's a lot of things, a lot of elements and things that have to line up properly in these shows to make them work right. And so the sound was one of them. Thank you for telling me that ahead of time. It's going to be a reminder for me when I do my next setup. So that'll be good.
No echo,
Excellent.
echo.
When I grow up, I want to be an echo. I want to be an echo. Okay, so here's the deal. Tonight's topic, how to answer a Christian missionary, whether they're knocking at your door or in the workplace or whatever. Hey,
that's my question, William. When I threw this title, this possibility at you for a topic tonight, the first thing you said is that really doesn't happen at the door. People don't knock at the door anymore. So my question is because the circumstances determine how we're going to respond.
Okay. Right.
Okay. If the circumstances change, our response might change.
Right.
You know, if we're going to a I don't know what Christian-based movie, because we know we're not going to have to see stuff we don't want to see. Okay,
right.
They're expected to be Christians there. But if we're going to a, I don't know what, lecture on nuclear physics, and all of a sudden somebody starts missionizing us, I mean, different circumstances require a different response.
Right. Can I mention something real fast? No,
yeah.
Just because it's kind of a good spot to throw it in there is.
Yeah.
You guys definitely keep me in your thoughts and prayers for my job that I'm on. Because they found out about my Tanakh Talk channel a little while back, and I am catching a lot of grief. They're not coming out and saying it, but I know for a fact they found it because a comment was made about it.
Wait, but what? I'm confused. What they found?
Okay, the people I work for found out I have this show called Tanakh Talk.
Whoa.
Yeah, and they're like, there's a lot of heat in the kitchen right now, and I don't know that they can fire me, but they can sure try to make my life a living hell.
Are they doing that?
How are they?
No, are they doing that?
Oh yeah. It's right now. My job is like a living nightmare right now. When it was so wonderful before they found out. I mean, it was like they loved me. They thought every idea I had was great. You know, they trust me now. They're treating you kind of like a Christian would treat somebody. Like they don't trust you anymore. You can't be trusted because you left Jesus. You know, they're having me have document like every minute of my day, tell them what I'm doing, how long it took to do this, how long was I in the bathroom. They're just trying to make my job like really complicated, you know. Maybe
Where,
to
where
try to
are
get
they
me to quit,
located?
huh?
Where are they located? Where's the central offices of their?
Texas Bankers Association in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's definitely awkward. I mean, in the employee handbook, it says they can let anybody go at any given reason for at any given time.
That's Texas law.
Yeah, so they don't need a reason to fire me. In other words, which means if they fire me, then I can't get unemployment. So I'm going to be really out.
Wait, if they fire you, you cannot get unemployment?
Right? Don't you have to get unemployment? Don't you have to have like be let go under like where it was laid off for a period of time or just to laugh?
You have to work for a period of time before you, like 6 months or whatever it is. I mean, you need to talk to a lawyer about this, William.
Okay.
But I thought you want them to fire you if you're going to get unemployment. Unemployment cannot kick in unless you get fired. If you choose to quit, you don't get unemployment. It's only if they fire you, you get unemployment.
Oh, okay, I got you. I've never had unemployment before, so I don't know how that works. Okay, I got you. I do know that they're trying to. I know that they want me. They want me out of here. That they've made it way too clear. But I think they don't. I think they don't have the power to fire me themselves, especially since they don't have any reasons.
William, I'm going to make a suggestion here.
Okay.
Do you have friends who are Jewish in Austin?
No, not that I'm aware of. I have one Jewish lady friend that's here. Weird, of all places, right? In Kingsland, Texas. There's one Jewish lady that lives in town, and we're friends with her. She's not a religious Jew.
Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Which is better than a Messianic Jew, if you will. Messianic Christian.
What is the name of this organization that hired you?
Texas Bankers Association. So I don't want to make the show about this though. So we can.
No, but we'll get to the show in a minute.
Okay.
Gotcha. Here's why. The Bankers Association, is it a nonprofit?
No, it's just like a bank, but it's the bankers that they hire lawyers and stuff to supply all the banks with compliance laws and stuff like that. So, and I work video stuff for them.
I wish there have to be Jews who have businesses that use the Texas Bankers Association. There have to be. And the bigger the client of theirs you can find, the better it'll be. But you need to find somebody who knows somebody.
That's a good idea.
And say, look, I'm doing a job and I'm doing a really good job. And the only reason they're doing this now is because they found out that I left Christianity and I've been a great supporter of the worldwide Jewish community.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And, see if they'll go to bat for you.
Right.
Because the only other alternative, start looking right now, like now, for a different job.
I already have. I started looking like several months ago when I started sensing something going on. This last week, it's like the crap hit the fan, if you will, for sure. So,
this last week, what?
This last week, the heat really got turned up like on boiling. I mean, it was always a little tense for about the past 9 months because I suspected something was weird. But
9 months.
I think
okay.
I think the information is spread to others, and so now it's like I'm catching heat from a lot of different places. So, So anyway, carrying on. Let's go ahead and move on to our topic if you want to, and we'll get this baby kicking it. So, how do you answer a Christian missionary either at your door, in your workplace, at HEB?
Well, the first question is, who is doing it, and what are the circumstances surrounding their doing it?
Okay.
Is it a good friend, or is it some stranger who sees a chai around your neck, or a Star of David around your neck, or earrings that are Star of David's?
Okay.
Is it a random stranger? Is it a person who's been a friend for a while? I mean, there are tons of questions that you have to ask. Okay. And William, this goes very much to your present dilemma. There's an old saying, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Right.
Because if the person who's missionizing you is a good friend, then you may choose to ignore their missionizing, toss off an answer, repel them, tell them you're not interested, and see if they can get past the fact that you're committed to your religion,
Right.
Whatever that happens to be, and still stick with the friendship, because the friendship, the happiness is more important than being right that they have no right to do this.
Right. That makes sense.
Well, that's the first thing you have to determine.
Okay.
You have to, there's an old saying, you have to only, the saying is only fight the battles that are worth winning. Because if fighting the battle costs you too much, then a win is what they call a Pyrrhic victory. You may win the battle, but you're going to lose the war.
Sure.
So you have to pick your battles. And another thing that's very important to understand. Someday you feel great, someday you feel not so great. Someday you're going to fight tooth and nail against what they're doing. And some days they're going to do exactly the same thing, and you're going to shrug your shoulders and just, I don't want to deal with it. And the way you answer a missionary one day isn't the way you have to answer the missionary another day when they do exactly the same thing. There's no rule, regulation, standard of behavior to be held up against. There's no, it's whatever you feel like saying or doing in the moment is the right thing to say or do in the moment. And next moment, same thing may happen. You may respond differently. And if you do, that's fine. It's okay. No problem. So there's a wide variety of possibilities and a wide variety of ways to respond to it. And it also, another thing that you have to remember is sometimes there are people who are genuinely curious. They're not necessarily really trying to convert you. They're asking you a question because they want to know the answer.
Right.
And if you have a chip on your shoulder and you think that everybody's out to get you, well, then you're going to see things that aren't there, and you're going to react, and they're going to look at you like, are you crazy? Why'd you react that way?
Right. That makes sense.
So you have to really, figure things out. Engage brain before engaging mouth, or something like that. I forgot how that saying goes.
Open mouth, insert foot. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well,
it's the opposite of that.
As they say, or as I say, as I'm used to saying, sometimes I have put my foot so far down my throat, toenails come out the other end.
Oh, dear. That was totally TMI.
Yeah. Well.
All right. So I'm going to... So actually, I don't even know what question to ask, because it's more of a topic, a generalized topic. How do you respond to the Christian missionary? So,
well,
what's the approach we need to take now to kind of step onto that next stone of the show?
I have to tell you something, William. Okay. I'm less and less patient than I was yesterday. Yesterday, even less so than the day before. I'm really losing my patience with everything I see on Facebook.
Oh, so you don't have the fruits of the Spirit then?
No, I definitely don't. And I don't care, and let them say I don't. What they say doesn't mean diddly squat to me. Which, by the way, can make me very dangerous. If a person worries about the effects, they get nothing done. There's a great cartoon, Peanuts. May Charles Schultz rest in peace. But, Lucy Van Pelt, Lucy, at the end of the, she says something and it hurts the feelings of Linus or whoever. At any rate, at the end of it, she says, if you go around watching what you say, you will never get anything said. I think that's pretty good advice. So I see all this doo-doo on Facebook and Christians saying things that are just meant to be provocative. They know that. Well, tell me, how do you Jews feel about Isaiah 53? Or what do you think about Isaiah? Have you ever read Isaiah 53? And you've seen these people here for years. They know exactly how the Jews are answering.
Right.
They just think they now know how to respond to the Jews, so they want to get into it with the Jews. Because now they think they've learned something new with which to attack the Jewish community and try to convert people.
Right.
So first thing to do in terms of how to respond to Christian missionaries, that has to actually come first, is to study, learn. Learn as much as you can about what they say and why they say it, about the Jewish response, about the Christian response to the Jewish response, and about the Jewish response to the Christian response to the Jewish response. Mm-hmm. In other words, listen to other people arguing against the missionaries themselves. You'll learn the most that way. But learn, study. So, number one, first, foremost, Tovia Singer's stuff. Okay?
Yeah, there you go. Let's get biblical Q&A. Or not Q&A, but...
Is that visible or is it backwards?
No, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Okay, all right.
So it's outreachjudaism.org, by the way.
Outreachjudaism.org. Okay. 2 volumes. I'm only showing you one because I'm not strong enough to lift them both. Okay. That'd be number 1. Websites.
Yep.
Okay. outreachjudaism.org, JewsforJudaism.com or
.ca,
which is Canada.
Yep.
JewsforJudaism.ca, the Canadian Toronto offices. There's also JewsforJudaism.com, I think, or it's .org, either one. There's Judaism's, got to have the S, Judaism's Answer, Rabbi Moshe Shulman's website. You can do a Google search on Yisrael Blumenthal and come up with all his multiple websites and articles and things. There's now where'd you go? Okay, Jason LaCrosse. Okay, revealing Matthew's
secrets. Yep.
Secrets. Okay. Study. Okay.
Right.
One of the revised version, newly revised version of one of the first response to the modern Christian missionary movement, the Messianics of Jews for Jesus. It's called The Jewish Response to Missionary Christianity, okay, by Gerald Siegel. And any one of these people, go to Amazon.com and Google their name, okay?
Right. Yep.
And you'll find more than one book from each one of these people.
And since you're not going to mention it, I will.
I'm sorry, what?
I said, and since you're not going to mention it, I certainly will.
Well, all right, fine.
So, Rabbi Federow's book.
Yeah, his was first.
Judaism and Christianity Contrast. And if you really want to get specific, then you want to go to the website. WhatJewsBelieve.org. It's on your screen.
WhatJewsBelieve.org.
Yep. And what you'll find, let me see if my mouse is going to show up. Oh, it does. Cool. Right here is, I'm just going to hover over and talk about this. Like this was like the cell phone app. In fact, this works exactly like the cell phone app. It was almost the identical thing. So if you have a cell phone, just save WhatJewsBelieve.org, the website, as a favorite of yours. That way you can open up the website. Pardon me. You can open up the website and actually go to any of these standard topics. One person cannot die for the sins of another. Blood sacrifice is not required for forgiveness of sins. Jesus was not the Messiah. God hates human sacrifices. People born. All these topics are all the way down, even specific Christian proof text. And yes, you can get his book, by the way, on Amazon or Kindle. Barnes & Noble, Nook, Google Play Books, all those are available. But here, when you click on one of these, one person cannot die for the sins of another, then it goes straight to, I guess you could say, a short mini lecture with site references, and it looks like there's a hyperlink there as well. There's an essay, and then there's also this sidebar stays open continuously throughout your whole search. You can even do an individual search if you like. So That being said, this is an absolutely fantastic resource. I highly recommend, like, everybody who deals with Christians on a regular basis or even semi-regularly. You got a family member, you don't want to go to their house because they always talk about stuff you need to know how to answer. Save this website, whatjewsbelieve.org. I'll go back there, Turkey. Whatjewsbelieve.org. And put a star on it, save it as your favorites, and anytime you're out to eat with a friend or you're in a situation, then all you got to do is go to this website, and you will have pretty much most of the answers you'll be looking for.
All right.
So
other books that you need to know about because they're enormously useful. Okay, this book is called Modern Jews Engage the New Testament. Okay, it's by Rabbi Michael Cook.
Very good.
Okay, Modern Jews Engage the New Testament, Enhancing Jewish Well-Being in a Christian Environment. It sounds like this is a namby-pamby, let's all get along, hold hands, and sing Kumbaya. It isn't. It isn't. Okay, it's basically why they invented stories in the New Testament. For what purpose did they come up with these things? And he... kind of very intellectual, but he's a professor, but it does a really good job. The first time I understood the Passover Seder, the Last Supper is not a Passover Seder, may not even been Passover, is because of articles in that book. Wow. Here's an old one. This is like 1948. Okay, Judaism and Christianity.
Oh, nice.
The differences.
Right.
Like Trudy Weiss Roseman, may she rest in peace. Okay, it's like 1948. There are tons and tons of books out there. So the number one thing you have to do before you engage or respond to a Christian missionary is know what you're going to say. Know the information. Know the material. That's like number one. Okay,
we have a as soon as you get, I don't want to miss this. Hang on one second. Let me type this in. BAR. Very good. No, that's the right one. BA.
Okay.
All right, Rabbi.
You just went out. I cannot hear you at all.
You can't hear me at all? Really? 1, 2, check.
William, I can hear you, but it's like you're 400 miles away all of a sudden.
That's really weird because I haven't touched anything, and it's coming through the meter still fine.
I can't tell you what happened.
Okay.
There you are.
Okay, so again, I'm not touching anything, so...
You're in and out.
Interesting. Guys, in YouTube land, am I also in and out audio-wise? Oh, they hear you. Andrea says that they can hear me fine. So if you have me on a room speaker... No, you have me at headphones. It could be your headphones. Okay. Yep, Larry Beck says, sounds good here. Okay, Rabbi, can you hear me at this moment?
I can hear you at this moment. Good.
Okay, I'm going to read this is a really interesting point made. One person cannot die for the sins of others, but Adam and Eve committed sin that affected everyone. So how would you carry that into a conversation? Let's carry this into a conversation.
First of all, okay, as soon as you admit one person cannot die for the sins of others, Jesus becomes irrelevant. You ask any Christian, what does Jesus do for you? The first response that they're going to say is, he died for my sins. But if one person can't die for the sins of others, Jesus is irrelevant. There's no more discussion.
Right. So this was from Barry Rollinger,
Right.
Rollinger, I think it is.
I'm sorry.
So I think it was more of a, more pointing to, sure they can, because when somebody dies, it affects everyone, right? I think that's kind of the
Adam and Eve didn't die. They just got kicked out of the Garden of Eden.
Right.
Okay, and if they have to take the fruit of the tree of life to become immortal, they're already mortal, and their mortality wasn't a punishment. They were made mortal from the moment of creation, the moment God created them, and therefore they didn't bring death into the world. That's Christian mythology, Christian, misinterpretation. But it says, but Adam and Eve committed sin. Really? And where is the first time in the Bible that it uses the word sin? It never says a word about sin about Adam and Eve. What it says is sin in relationship to Cain's jealousy for Abel. And even there it says, but you can master sin. But you can master it. So
Yep.
the idea that Adam and Eve sinned
Yes,
in
the
the
sin
Garden
is
of
crouching
Eden,
at your door, so you must master it, lest it take hold of you and something. I can't remember how it goes, but
right? But the point is that if Adam and Eve, if we as in human beings made in the image of God, little lower than the angels, can win over sin, we also don't need Jesus. But
right.
Adam and Eve did not bring death into the world. They did not sin in the Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve were kicked out of the Garden of Eden not because they sinned, but explicitly to separate them from the tree of life. Because if they would have stretched out their hand and taken also of the tree of life and eaten and lived forever, therefore the eternal God sent them forth from the Garden of Eden. The reason they were kicked out of the Garden of Eden is explicitly to separate them from the tree of life so they wouldn't become immortal. If one bite of the tree of the knowledge of the difference between good and evil makes you know the difference between good and evil, then one bite out of the fruit of the tree of life makes you immortal. Therefore, They had not had anything from the tree of life, and to make sure they didn't become immortal, God kicked them out of the Garden of Eden, not because they sinned. Or you might say indirectly because they sinned. I'm sorry. Fell for the trap. It may be because they indirectly had to be, did something to make them have to be separated from the tree of life. What was it? It explicitly says in the book of Genesis that they are like God and the angels, become one of us, knowing the difference between good and evil. God and the angels know the difference between good and evil. God and the angels are also immortal. So if they took the fruit of the tree of life and became immortal, they would be totally like God and the angels. So to make sure they never become totally like God and the angels, they are separated from the tree of life. It's explicitly, simply, verbatim, literal, what the Bible says about why they were kicked out of the Garden of Eden.
Okay, next question. How can, let's see, where'd it go? I missed it. It scrolled. 1 second. Here we go. This is Constellation Pegasus, by the way.
What time?
Appreciate your,
this was at 7. Timestamp.
This was at 7:27.
I don't have a timestamp.
You have to change your settings to reveal that.
Never. Okay.
Now, mainly if you rebooted your computer or something, probably. So, by the way, I think Constellation Pegasus donated like $5 earlier to ask a question, but it wasn't a question for our show. But this question is, so we'll take it. Let's see, where'd it go? I scrolled up to find out what that was. Here we go. How can you prove angels cannot rebel and don't have a free will? My response was just the context of Tanakh shows you that they, God said do this and they do it, and it's like one message per angel. It's like they have a single task and a single type of task too. Like you have, the healing angel, you have one that's destruction. So I mean, the context overall, that was my general answer. I could be wrong, but that's what my answer was. So.
Oh, I think that's a good answer.
Cool.
I must say I'm somewhat caught off guard by that. I don't know how you can prove it.
That's what I was thinking too. It's not really
that's
kind of like context.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, but that's how Judaism understands it.
Sure.
And why do we have to prove it? That's how we understand it.
Very good. Dragon Backbones, welcome to the show. I don't think I've seen you here before. Welcome. A rising hero, why expose them to it? Please specify your question on the rising hero, if you don't mind. I'm not sure I understand there's a lot of comments. And so, by the way, Rabbi, when you're reading some of the questions like in the timeline, I think when somebody clocks in on YouTube, like it's 7:30 now. If they clocked in at 7:30, they're watching it from the beginning unless they advance forward to the live. So they may put comments in here that are out of time. Matt R., why do people focus on Adam and Eve when Genesis, the first chapter, says God created human beings?
I just toggled the timestamp. Yay!
All right, cool.
All right.
So if I forget how to do it, I'll have to call you and ask you how to do it because I don't remember. I'm glad you figured it out.
It says top chat, and there are 3 dots up and down on the right. Click on there, and one of the things is toggle.
Wow, nice.
Okay.
Oh, wow, very nice. Oh, wow. Jason Lee, Thank you for your donation. Blessings and
Yeah.
prayers to Chabad of Kentucky and their recovery. What I think I may have missed that, but something obviously they need prayer for. So
Okay, I have a question.
okay.
Constellation Pegasus. Okay, how can you prove angels cannot rebel and don't have free will?
That's the one that's the one I mentioned.
No,
earlier.
I'm that's why I'm bringing it up.
Oh,
Okay, so if everybody in heaven is good, or if everybody in heaven is pure, if everybody in heaven has already finished their punishment for the unrepented sins in this life, so therefore they go to heaven, the dust returns to us from which it came, the soul goes back to God who gave it. So the soul goes back. So if they're in heaven, you can't have evil in heaven. Evil could be defined as rebelling against God. So angels can't rebel, or else they wouldn't already make it to heaven.
wow.
Okay, free will, because they're invented by God. Okay, and nothing in the text says that they were granted free will, and the text clearly says that about human beings, by the way. I have set before thee this day life and death, the blessing and the curse, therefore choose life. If you're choosing, it's called free will. If you don't have a choice, you don't have free will.
Right.
If you have a choice, it's free will. Never says anything like that regarding the angels. So that's how I would look at it. That's how I'd respond. Andrea, I've checked the headphone jack. I pulled it out, put it back in. I don't know what else to do. I need to get new these. I have them in the other room, but I don't have them here.
Right. Very good.
Yeah, I don't have them here. All right. At any rate. Okay.
Okay. So
So at any rate, just
here you go. Here's a direct question. A good one. 7:32 p.m. Pig asks, how do you respond to Jesus died for your sins?
I go straight to the Hebrew Scriptures. Okay, I go straight to the Hebrew Scriptures. I go to Exodus chapter 32, verse 30 to 35, where Moses has witnessed the Jews sinning with the golden calf. He doesn't know what to do about it. He says, maybe, because he doesn't know what to do about it, maybe I can go to God and God will punish me for your sins. Moses goes to God and says, blot me out of the book. What book? Well, most people believe the book of life. So Moses could possibly be saying, kill me for their sin. Okay, but the book is never defined. It could be the book which lists who gets dessert after dinner. We don't know what it is, but whatever it is, to be blotted out of it means to be punished. Moses' bottom line is saying, punish me for their sin. And what's God's response? Exodus 32, verse 33. And the Eternal said to Moses, whosoever has sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book. The one who commits the sin is the one who gets the punishment. Deuteronomy 24, 16. Every man shall be put to death for his own sins.
Okay, so now I want to jump in real fast because I want to play the devil's advocate here for a second.
You devil, you.
So, when there's trouble, you call DW. Sorry, Darkwing Duck was a cartoon I used to watch. Anyway, so the Christian is going to say, well, that was in the beginning, before prophecy. So, with that statement, let's go to Ezekiel 18:20.
Absolutely.
Ezekiel 18:20, and this is a prophet. He's prophesying for future times,
right?
Not for past times. So,
right.
I think Ezekiel 18:20, the soul who sins is the one that will die.
The Son shall not bear the iniquity of the Father, neither shall the Father bear the iniquity of the Son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him. The wickedness of the wicked is on the wicked, not on the righteous.
Right on.
And Deuteronomy 24:16, if it says everyone shall be put to death for his own sin, then no one else can die for your sin. Unless, of course, God lied when he said, everyone shall be put to death for his own sin. Oh, wait, I changed my mind.
Right.
And if people point to a biblical verse and say, oh, that I interpret that to mean one person can die for someone else's sin, if it contradicts this verse, which in its simple, basic, elemental, peshat, verbatim, literal meaning means everyone is to be put to death for their own sin,
Yeah.
okay, then you have to reject the interpretation they're giving to this other biblical verse because it contradicts Deuteronomy 24:16.
Yep. Right.
And by the way, everything that a missionary is going to say comes back to this one thing. It doesn't matter if virgin shall give birth. They say it means that, we say it doesn't. Stalemate.
Right.
Okay, it doesn't matter if they want to believe Isaiah 53 is about their dying, saving man God. Okay, It doesn't matter. But if they have a belief that contradicts a verse in the Bible, in the Torah, whose simple, basic, elemental, literal, peshat meaning contradicts their interpretation, then their interpretation is a misinterpretation and has to be rejected.
Right.
And everything will fall back on this. The bottom line is that Christians believe Jesus died for their sin, and that contradicts what we have learned from Exodus 32, Deuteronomy 24, and Ezekiel 18.
And that is the rest of the story.
And then the rest of the story. Okay? Same thing you could say with God is God and man is man, and God does not become a man, and man does not become God. Numbers 23:19, God is not a man that he should lie, because God were a man, then like all other men, God too would be a liar, since all men lie. But God is not a man. Or Hosea 11:9, for I am God and not a man. Or Ezekiel 28:2, where a ruler thought he was God, set himself up as God. And boy, did he get punished. Okay, the basic elements of Christian theology is what you always have to go back to and show them in what we know comes from God. Even they will say the 5 books of Moses comes from God. They will say it is inspired literature. Well, if inspired literature says every man shall be put to death for his own sin, I have to reject their New Testament because it's new and it's contradictory to my Hebrew scriptures. Right. So it really doesn't matter what they point out. The bottom line here is Christian theology is unbiblical.
Okay, Rabbi, I've got my chat in one spot and I don't want to lose it. Go to the chat and look at the comment I just pasted. I did a copy paste. There's a comment by Michael Arlen or somebody. I can't remember who did it.
How do you answer? Wait, what? Oh, absolutely.
No, read it. Read it first if you don't mind.
How do you answer How do you answer Deuteronomy 24:16? Christians say it only applied to courts of law. Really? Show me anywhere in Deuteronomy 24 that is making any reference whatsoever limited to a court. As a matter of fact, does the word court of law, even appear in Deuteronomy 24, the whole chapter? I don't know. I don't think it does. Okay? Bible. Search.
Chaim.
C-O-U-R-T. Court.
Okay, I'm going back to 736 here.
Nope. The word court does not appear in the King James Version translation in the book of Deuteronomy anywhere. Okay?
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just... Sometimes when I clear my throat or cough, it's instant.
Same thing with the word crime. Courts with crime. But the interesting thing about Deuteronomy 24:16 is it explicitly uses the word for sin. Okay? Ish bechet o yumatu. Ish, every man. Any man. Every man. In, chet, sin. O on the end means his. In every man in his own sin, yumatu, is put to death. So they can say all they want to that this is only in court.
Come on.
But one, it's not proved by the context. Okay. Let's see.
I have another question whenever you're squared away.
Let's see. Wait a minute.
Oh.
Yeah, Deuteronomy 24:8. Take heed in the plague of leprosy. How does that have to do with a court? Okay. Let's see. You shall not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren or of thy strangers that are in thy land within thy gates. 15. At his day you shall give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor and sets his heart upon it, lest he cry against you to the Eternal, and it be sin to you. Next verse. The father shall not be put to death for the children, neither shall the children be put to death for the fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Okay? Next verse. 17. You shall not pervert the judgment of the stranger, nor the fatherless, nor take a widow's raiment to pledge. This isn't talking about courts. This is talking about you and me and everybody else. You don't judge a stranger. You don't judge or pervert the judgment of a stranger. Put yourself in his place. Don't judge a person by their looks. That's what this is talking about.
Yeah.
So the idea that it only has to do with crime, or only every man should be put to death for his own crime, it's not what the Hebrew says. It's not what the context says, and they're just grabbing at straws.
Right. True there.
Okay.
Okay, so next question. What about Exodus 20 verse 5? Punishing children for the iniquity of parents to the third and fourth generation. Oh, never mind. Oh, yeah, no, not never mind at all. So
Wait.
Exodus, okay, so again,
Exodus
that man, bear,
25.
pig at 7:37 p.m. What about Exodus 20 verse 5?
20
Punishing the children for the iniquity of the parents to the third and fourth generations. The thing is, that changed because it was changed. Deuteronomy clarified it, and so did Ezekiel.
It wasn't, wait a minute. Wait. It wasn't changed.
Wait, well, if it says no longer shall, that's a change.
Where does it say no longer?
No longer shall a man die for the sins of his fathers. Ezekiel chapter 20, I think, right?
I don't think it says no longer.
I believe it does. Maybe that could be the English. That could be the English.
But it doesn't matter. That's not what Exodus 20
I know,
verse
but
5
I'm saying
means.
that might just be an English translation that I'm looking at. So.
Well, Exodus 20 verse 5 doesn't mean what they think it means, what they're saying it means.
Oh, so explain that first of all, and then secondly, let's go to Ezekiel 18:20, and let's discuss that as well, okay?
We'll go to 18:20 in a minute.
Sure.
Okay, but Exodus 20 verse 5. This is in the 10 Commandments. It's in the second commandment. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. 20 verse 5, you shall not bow down yourself to them nor serve them. And then it says the following: for I, the eternal your God, am a jealous God, visiting the sin of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation of those that hate me. Mistranslation. Don't translate it as visiting the sin of the fathers upon the children. Al is the Hebrew, is the operative term there, and it doesn't mean upon. When you translate it to English, you have to use the right preposition. Prepositions are weird. English we say, I hit the nail with a hammer. Hebrew, you say, I hit the nail in a hammer. Sounds crazy to our ears, but if you said in Hebrew to an Israeli, I hit the nail with a hammer, they're going to look at you like you don't know the language. Because the word with is not the word that goes with hit in the Hebrew.
Oh.
So the best way to translate this, the true way to translate this, al is not just, I can lean on a wall, but I can also lean against the wall.
Can you lean upon the wall?
Yes, but
Okay.
the word upon and against in that sentence doesn't change the meaning.
Right. Okay.
I lean upon the wall, lean against the wall. I'm still leaning, and my weight is on the wall.
Okay.
Okay? But when you come to this verse, change the word upon to mean against, changes the meaning to what it really is talking about. For I, the eternal your God, am a jealous God, visiting the sin of the fathers against the children to the third and fourth generation of those that hate me. The sin is committed by the fathers, and it's committed against the children, even if it's the children to the third and fourth generation. You're the first generation. Your children are the second generation. Your grandchildren are the third generation. If you're lucky enough, the great-grandchildren are the fourth generation. So it's saying that if you abuse your children, your grandchildren, or great-grandchildren, God's not going to let that go. Why? The whole paragraph is about idolatry.
Right. Idols
are a false image of God. Okay? The way a parent, grandparent, great-grandparent, because then I can bless you and love you. You sound like me about 4 or 5 hours ago.
I'm actually fine. It's just sometimes when I drink or eat certain things, it like makes me want to clear my throat.
Allergy.
Hey,
okay.
I have to say something real fast. This is great.
Go ahead.
One of the biggest arguments I had against Judaism, I took up with, you're going to love this. I took up with Rabbi Eli Cohen.
Oh, yeah.
I was a Messianic at the time. And I presented to him, you know, if a child can't die for the sins of the father, be put to death. Excuse me, put to death is actually the key. Not die, but put to death. For the sins of the father, what happened with King David's son being, you know, whatever, I mean, that clearly was a punishment, and God forgave David for it. And I've heard a lot of examples and a lot of reasons why that's not accurate, and they're all good. But this was the most simple, like one sentence explanation that just went, oh my God.
What was that?
Oh my God.
What was
Christo
that?
Cheney says, and this is very important, his son wasn't, David's son, King David's son was not put to death. His son was a stillborn.
His son died.
He wasn't put to death. You know, so you can't say that, yeah, because Jesus was put to death, right? But this was just like King David's son was a stillborn. That, to me, that makes a lot of sense. If it's not super clear, or if I'm not conveying that properly,
there's also the issue that they are forgetting when they make that statement, William.
Which is?
There's always collateral damage.
Right. Oh, yes, yes.
If I sin by polluting the air, the next generation breathes that air, can get pneumonia or emphysema, and die as a result. They died breathing that air, that bad air, because I sinned by polluting the air. But their death doesn't take away my sin. That's the issue here. If a soldier jumps on a hand grenade to save his buddies, even though he dies, does that take away the sin of his buddies? No, but there's always collateral damage, and you know, this is what happens. Human beings do things, make choices, and other people can suffer as a result. Even their family members can suffer as a result. That's why Isaiah 53:5 it doesn't say that the suffering servant dies for their sin, suffers for their sin. It's a mem, dies or suffers from their sin as a result of their sin. So, you know, the issue isn't that the child of Solomon died, a child of David died. The issue is, did his death take away everybody else's sin? No, it explicitly says David was forgiven before the child even died. You know, read the text.
Okay, so I want to discuss now. I'm going to put it up on screen. Let me switch this first of all. I'm going to put it up on screen, Ezekiel 18:20, and I'd like you, if you would, and for the viewers out there, keep in mind this is post Devarim, post Deuteronomy, and so explain to the world what kind of implication this prophecy has on future generations as far as everything else goes, and if there's anything else that goes with it. So,
what prophecy? What is?
Well, I say it's prophecy. This is Ezekiel.
Oh.
You know, so this is after Deuteronomy.
Right. The soul that sins, it shall die. The son shall not bear the sin of the father, neither shall the father bear the sin of the son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, the righteous, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him.
Wouldn't this have been a really great place to say, one of these days I'm probably going to send my son to die for you all, so you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Right.
That would have been a really, really good spot to put that in there.
Right. If it says the soul that sins is the soul that dies, the soul that sins, it shall die. It means no one else can die for your sin.
Right.
Psalm 47, I think it's 47.
Oh, you're checking my trigger skills, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, tell me again, Psalm what?
Psalm, I think it's 47, 46 or 47. Okay, maybe it's 46.
Okay, what are you looking for?
It says, no man can be ransomed for another man.
Okay, that is only 12 verses, so...
We can't find it.
Let's see. Unless I typed that in wrong. Yep, Psalm 46. Change of waters.
I thought it was 47. Maybe it's 49. I always get my sevens and nines mixed up.
Yeah, this doesn't look like the right context for it. Let me go to 49. Actually, I could have found it already. Tell me what it says again. I'll look it up on.
It says, no man shall be a ransom.
Okay, hold on.
For another man.
Oh, cool. I'll look it up right now. No,
something like that. The word ransom is what's used.
And I'm looking at the YouTube chat because sometimes they're quicker than I am. Actually, that happens a lot, actually. Let me see if there's
49.
That's 49.7, Rabbi. Pivan,
that's 40.
Thank you. 49.7. Let me look it up right now.
Thank you. None of them can by any means redeem his brother, nor give to God a ransom for him.
All right, hold on. Here we go. Those who rely... Oh, wait. A brother cannot redeem a man. There you go. Okay, in the Hebrew Bible, it's verse 8. Oh, good Lord. Come on, stop. In the English Bible, it is verse 7. I've got the wrong screen up. I'm sorry, guys. I thought I had the other screen up. My bad. There it is. So, yeah, and this is Psalm. So basically everything post-Torah that tells you, and it all agrees, that everything happens by a certain way, and it's definitely not one paying for someone else's sins. So that should be considered, but it is not.
See, but I want to go back to something.
Oh, we've got something good.
Okay, just real quick. Everything we're saying is the response to a missionary. Everything we're pointing out is the response to a missionary, and you have to learn it. Yeah. If you want to respond to a missionary, you have to learn, study.
Yep. And the thing about it is, it's for me, it's like you want to learn it more for yourself than for someone else, because along the way, I'm talking to the people who leave Christianity, because speaking from experience, my wife. We've been doing this now. This is going to complete our 8th year in November. It'll be year 9. We'll start in December here for Tanakh Talk. My wife and I have been out of the church for about 10 years. But I can tell you the first couple years of leaving, she would come to me from time to time worried, even though she kind of knew, but she knew, but she just needed to have something else to like really help her understand. And so you memorizing this stuff is going to help you solidify your perspective on where you're at now. It's not about us convincing you. We're not trying to sell you something. It's about you convincing yourself based on what's there. And so you memorizing this stuff is going to help you solidify, and also going to give you the right answers to give to someone else to help them out of their idolatry. So,
by the way, someone I forgot already who. Wait a minute.
It's okay. Give me a time marker when you're ready.
Let's see. So where'd it go? Man Bear Pig, 7:50 p.m. 2 Samuel 12:15. The child was born and struck ill.
Oh, whoa. Was it really?
Absolutely.
I thought it was stillborn. Crystal Cheney said it was a stillborn.
Well, stillborn means they passed away in the womb.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But the point is, I will say this: I do know in Judaism, the proof of life happens after 30 days. I don't know what that means, but
2 Samuel 12:13, and David said to Nathan, I have sinned. David said to Nathan, I have sinned against the Eternal. And Nathan said to David, the Lord has put away your sin. You shall not die. In other words, he repented, and for which he was forgiven. But there is, what you call it, damage.
Collateral.
I used the term before, now I can't remember what it is.
Collateral.
collateral damage, and the child dies as a result, but not to take away the sin of David. Okay?
But you got to admit,
Right.
it does look kind of suspicious. If you're going to go there, and Christians, that's exactly where they're going to go. It does look awfully suspicious that God used killing killing his son as a punishment for. Now, but here's the thing. So
yeah, but what's the punishment? The punishment is that he sees his child die.
Right.
It tears him up inside.
Right.
But it's not the death that takes away the sin. He was already forgiven for the sin.
Yeah, there you go. I think that's the key right there. It's not the punishment. It's the forgiveness. Those are two totally different things. This whole thing was he already forgave King David before the kid died. Before his child died, right? He forgave him. Yep. So, but it was punishment.
And 12:15, Nathan departed to his house, and the Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife bore David. The child's already been born, and it was very sick.
Gotcha.
And it's the seventh day that the child passes away.
Okay.
I don't think I would call that stillborn.
It's not stillborn at all. I just assumed.
Right.
That
doesn't matter.
Read, so
the point is that repeatedly throughout the entire Bible, no one else can die for your sin.
Right. Right.
Which completely undermines the most basic elements of Christian theology.
Right. Okay, Blue Thunder, welcome. I don't think I've seen you here on the show either. 7:51 p.m. Welcome. Sounds like a singer. Wait, Barry. That's fine. I hope that's a compliment, Barry Ollinger. He says William sounds like Rabbi Singer. So.
There's a Baptist seminary in Jakarta, and twice I have lectured to their student community via Zoom. Let's see.
Okay, Rabbi, let's go to 7:54 p.m. Eyes wide open. Welcome. Again, I think I'm seeing a lot of new faces today. Eyes wide open says, basically, we can die from someone's sin, but not for someone's sin. That's a question mark. Difference is for and from. That's definitely true. That's kind of like a punishment versus a forgiveness sort of a thing.
Well, no, the issue is if I die for someone, that means I am making them without sin because I died in their place. Okay?
Right.
From means as a result of, and it has nothing to do with sin. Okay? If I sinned by murdering you, taking out a gun and shooting you, you died because I sinned. I sinned by murdering you, and you died as a result. But your death doesn't take away my sin. The issue for the whole Jesus thing, okay, the Christian stuff,
right,
is that they say Jesus' death died for the sins of humanity. And the Bible repeatedly says that's not how this works.
Right.
Oh. So we can die as a result of someone else's sins. They can take out a gun and shoot us. They can pollute, and we breathe in their pollution. Any number of things. We swerve to miss a deer, wreck our car, and they die in the back seat. God forbid, a million times, God forbid. Okay? But their death doesn't take away our sin. That's the issue here. Why do I keep saying that? David's son died as a result of his sin. But the death of David's son doesn't take away David's sin. David was already forgiven.
Right. Okay. Oh boy, here we go, Rabbi. Last comment, and last point.
Jaja.
Yep. It says no one can die for your sin because everyone is sinner. Everyone are sinners. The sinner does not redeem another sinner like him. The Redeemer, obviously pointing to Jesus, must be without sin and without blemish, the only one with... Oh, my gosh. Welcome to the channel, Jaja. You've got a lot of videos to watch. We've discussed this super in-depth, and you're sadly mistaken. Jesus was not without blemish when he died, and he also was not without sin. The only one without sin is the Lord. That is true, but the Lord is not Jesus.
Bingo.
It's the Creator himself. And he was alone in the beginning. There was no other.
When it says blemish, We know the word blemish when it's in reference to sheep, lambs.
Right.
Okay, when it refers to goats. In other words, the sacrifices. Blemish regarding the sacrifice, which he is trying to make Jesus a sacrifice, meant nothing wrong with his skin. No blemish on the skin. Jesus was beaten up, scourged. They put a crown of thorns on his head, and every single artist's rendition shows blood coming from where the thorns go into his scalp. So don't tell me Jesus wasn't blemished. Blemish doesn't mean sinless. Blemish means nothing wrong with the physicality of the offering.
Right. But the problem with Jesus was before he died, he was beaten to a bloody pulp. He was totally
scourged.
marred. He was completely destroyed. So he was completely not a kosher sacrifice anyway. And one of my favorite things I've never heard anybody else say except for you, Rabbi, and now it's spreading like wildfire. He died for, a couple days? So he came back to life. So he was on a weekend vacation. He never, sacrifices have to stay dead. That's the point. He didn't, if he really did come back to life, then it was a failed sacrifice. Sacrifices have to remain dead.
Right. If I give up a lamb and the lamb comes back to me, I didn't give up anything. I got it back.
Right.
All Jesus did was give up a weekend.
Yep.
Okay. And by the way, when it says that Jesus didn't sin, okay, how about misleading the people by telling them that all those of you who are here with me today shall not taste death until I return in my glory, or words, whatever, I can't remember the exact words. Jesus still hasn't come back. Okay.
Until heaven and earth pass.
Sorry?
They should have left that out of the New Testament. Matthew 7, or I can't remember. It says, until heaven and earth pass. He gave you a time frame. No one can see heaven, but they can see earth. Until heaven and earth pass, not one jot or one tittle should pass from the law, from the Torah, until everything be fulfilled. So if you can look outside and still see earth, then the Torah still stands and all the laws in it. And so with Jesus changing the laws of Passover, saying that he's the sacrificial lamb, you can't change that.
Last I looked, heaven and earth was still here.
Yep.
If I go outside, I'm going to look up and see stars. Heaven and earth are still here. Therefore, even Jesus said the law is in effect. Oops.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Wow. I still find it so, and I'll get this from a comment that Blue Thunder stated at 8:02 p.m. I still find it so unbelievably amazing, in a bad way. So amazing is probably not the right word. That somehow Jesus or the New Testament believers would find it an effective tool to say, drink my blood and eat my flesh, when all of that is a complete abomination to Judaism. That would be like me saying, hey, come watch this porno movie with me and I'll take care of your house payment. That doesn't make any sense at all. It seems like you're almost insulting the person you're trying to help. So why they use that, I really don't know. It completely blows my mind. It blows my mind.
William, it explicitly tells us in Leviticus 17 that you don't drink blood.
Right.
It says that they'll say that if you take a look at,
must be poured out on the floor.
Yes.
That's only,
and if
used on the altar. Yeah.
If for once they would actually read what the Bible says, it wasn't on the altar, it was on the sides of the altar. The top of the altar might in some instances get sprinkled with a little blood on the corners, but if you put the blood on the top, it would drown out the fire that's supposed to be consuming the burning sacrifice. Okay? So, yeah. If you take a look at Leviticus 17, okay, they'll jump to 11 and they'll say, for the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I've given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls, for it's the blood that makes an atonement. But they don't look at the previous verse.
Yep.
The whole thing is about eating blood. Verse 10, the one that comes before 11. And whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or the strangers that sojourn among you, that eats any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eats blood, and I will cut him off from among the people. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I've given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. It's the blood that makes an atonement for your soul. Keep reading, verse 12, the one that comes after verse 11. Therefore I said to the children of Israel, no soul of you shall eat blood, neither shall any stranger that sojourns among you eat blood. And yet we're supposed to eat the blood of their Jesus.
Wow.
Okay. Jesus makes a scourge to beat up everybody in the temple because they're selling sacrifices and they are money changers.
Right.
And yet it's explicitly stated in Deuteronomy 14 that if you live too far away, take what you were going to sacrifice, sell it, take the money to Jerusalem, to the temple, turn it into the local money. The one who used the weight of the gold or silver, buy the temple weight, turn it into the local, which means you got to have money changers. Then buy what you want to sacrifice, which means you got to have sellers of the sacrifices, and then go enjoy the holiday.
Yep.
So Jesus didn't sin. He's beating up everybody for doing exactly what God commanded them to do.
Word. Okay, well, we're going to take a little change of pace now, Rabbi.
Okay.
First of all, I want to say to some of the viewers out there who heard my story about my job problem, I can tell you I've been stressed out now for quite some time over my job because...
You never said a word to me.
I know. I don't talk to... I've never said a word to anybody. It just tonight's topic triggered it, and I was like, I've got to say, I can't hold it anymore. But the thing is, if I lose my job here, it's gonna put a really, really bad situation on my hands because we pay our rent. I mean, Tanakh Talk does not provide a lot. Like it provides some extra cash fuel to pay for its own internet bill, and it pays for things related to the studio and provides a little buffer if something small happens, but it does not supplement my income at all, not even close. And so if I lost my job, Tanakh Talk possibly could, within 30 to 60 days, could actually end from something like that, from that devastating. So it is a big thing. It's a massive, massive burden. But I will tell you this. You guys tonight, just talking with y'all and seeing some of the comments, giving me an insight I didn't know about, has relieved a lot of stress, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your care and your concern, and I know for me on my side with my job, I'm doing the best I can. I keep really detailed notes of my daily activities, and I keep a really tight timeline so they could see exactly how I spend my time. So there's nothing they could say that would justify a firing anyway. But thank you all for your support. I really appreciate that. So. Yes.
William.
Yes.
Let me say the following too.
Okay.
Please make donations to Tanakh Talk. There are 78, now 77 people watching. Only 39 even bothered to hit the thumbs up. But the thumbs up, the more thumbs up you get, helps you some way, somehow. I know it does.
It does. It helps the search algorithms on YouTube,
right.
So they show up more often.
At minimum, okay, if you won't donate, at least hit the thumbs up as a small, teeny, tiny, itty-bitty little way to say thank you to William for doing this. But far better than that is cash on the barrelhead.
Right.
TanakTalk.com/donate. TanakTalk.com/donate.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Thank you, Rabbi. I appreciate that.
Well, don't you have cups? Don't you have things to sell?
I have things now that are coming that actually they're in proofing stage right now. In fact, I'll show you the cup will actually have this. This is what's on the cup. I did the graphics myself. I did all the artwork myself. But there's black cups and then there's white cups, and they have the same thing on it. So, and there's also which you can't see. Actually, you can. I just need to turn on my camera. There's also these cool guys, and they were good for a while. And maybe I just need to advertise them more. So let's see, trying to get them where you can see the camera. So you can get a black cup. How do I do this? There we go. A black cup and a white cap, or a black and black, white on white.
How about 2 caps and 2 cups?
2 caps and 2 cups, right?
Thank you, Gustavo.
but
That's
guys,
very
keep
kind and generous of you. Thank you.
keep in mind, guys. Oh my gosh, Gustavo. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. So keep in mind the prices that come out. I think what's going to happen with the cups. The cups are going to end up being, they're not for sale. That's what you guys have to understand. The cups and hats are not for sale. We're not selling these from the Nike store.
Nick. Thank you, Constellation Pegasus.
Good Lord. Thank you so much, guys. Wow. Oh,
now you're up to 61 thumbs ups. Thank you, Smitty.
Guys, thank you. So keep in mind the cups, the hats, they're not for sale. They're technically compliments of donations. So, if somebody will set a thimble that they paid 2 cents for and put a stamp on it that cost them 7 cents and sell it for $20. It's not because it's for sale. It's because it's to generate donations is what it's for.
Exactly.
So when the price doesn't seem to match the item, you have to look at it. It's a donation factor. It's not you're buying a product. You're supporting a station. And so the cups, I'll tell you exactly how much I'm paying for them. $10 a cup. I'm going to put them out for $30 a cup for $30 plus shipping, so that it will help with the donations. Because at the end of the day, I really need to get the donations built up for it to not talk.
But William,
yeah,
what that means is if they donate for $30 or whatever the shipping is, $30 plus shipping
like
plus
30,
whatever.
it'll be about 35 and some change.
So if they give you $36, they get a cup.
Yes, right.
So you're not selling it for $36.
Right.
You're giving it as a thank you if they donate $36 or more.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
Right. Very good. And the hats, I think we're at 30 or 35. I can't remember how that worked out. It was like 2 years ago when we got these hats, and thank you, Rabbi, for pushing the idea via someone else, but you helped me lock that whole thing. And these things are pretty cool, though. Look, if you look at let me switch cameras. Hold on a second, so you can get it really close up. It's a really nice. Oh, I got to switch. Hold on, I got to switch the screens. There we go. And so it'll take you about 10 seconds, Rabbi. But these things are pretty. They're stitched on there. They're really nice.
I see it. There we go.
You can see it's actual. The stitching is not like an iron-on. And honestly, hey guys, also the cups, by the way, they're not stick-on stickers. When I first started, I actually had to do things. I was like running on pennies, so. For me to do anything with cups, I had a vinyl cutter machine that somebody said, hey, buy this, put the stickers on it, that'll work. That was kind of cheesy, but that's all I had at the time. But now these are actually official cups that are actually embedded in ceramic. It's like painted on, ceramic coated, glossy covered. There's no stickers. It's all the real thing. And so, but this is the other one. So there's white ones as well. So you got white and black, and also white and black cups as well. So that's kind of cool. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be starting to get
Dragon
t-shirts.
Backbone. Thank you, Dragon Backbone.
Oh my God. You guys.
Hey, William. Well earned, well deserved. Thank you all for coming forth. Even if all you did was hit the thumbs up sign, it's something. It means something. And you have no idea. I talked to William, and, it would be great if he could, earn a living from just Tanakh Talk and do this the whole week. 74 out of 75 watching now. Thank you.
Thank you,
to
guys,
everybody
so
who hit the thumbs up and who donated. Because everything helps. Everything goes in to help.
Thank you, y'all. This is super cool, man. Very, very, very humbling and very kind of all of you guys. Thank you so much. mean that. So, okay. 8:14. Okay, Larry said a sick chick. 8:14 timestamp. Sorry.
8:14. Make sure you go talk to the head man at your work. Always appeal to a higher authority.
Yeah. Yep. True. Good point.
And William, if they choose to let you go, to fire you, that's when unemployment kicks in. They will fight you on that unemployment, but they better be able to prove they had cause.
Okay.
Therefore, if they do fire you, your first phone call is to a lawyer.
Okay. That makes sense.
Please God, it won't come to that. I wish to God we knew somebody who uses the Texas Bankers Association banking that we could appeal to, who could say, I'm going to take my business away if you do this.
Right.
I wish Jews would be more have more spine and do things like that, but they tend not to. There was a horrible, horrible picture on the day where that Friday night was the beginning of Passover in the Houston Chronicle. They had in order to exemplify the Seder, in order to exemplify the Jews celebrating Passover, they had a Messianic synagogue and Messianic rabbi who was doing Passover. I would love for just one person who regularly advertises in the Houston Chronicle to just stop for a month. And when he gets a phone call from the Chronicle, why did you stop? Say, did you see that page? Did you see that picture? But won't happen.
Eyes wide open. Thank you. All right. Wow. Guys, I love you all, man. Y'all are cool. Super, super awesome. Thank you so much for everything. This is great.
Well earned, well deserved, William.
Awesome. Rabbi, thank you. We'll let you go for now, and we'll reconvene next week. Hashem willing, same time, same place. Thank you all. Y'all are awesome. Rabbi, love you, man.
I love you too.
We'll talk to you soon. Shalom, everybody. Thank you. There's that finger dance everybody's been waiting to see again. Bye, guys.
חשוב והכרחי להיות ביחד. איפוק זו העוצמה, ויתור זו הגדולה, השאיפה והכמיהה. אני אתה אתם תמיד תמיד כולם ביחד. חשוב מכל חשוב והכרחי להיות ביחד.